Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, desserts. We're going to be talking about raw vegan desserts. These are not just regular desserts because these desserts are healthy, they are easy to make, and they are also budget friendly. And they all have maximum of 5 ingredients, which makes them really easy to make and also really easy to remember. So if you think that eating raw vegan food has to be super expensive, then stick around because I'm going to show you how to make these 3 amazing, super easy and super healthy desserts without breaking your bank. And I'm gonna share my best tips for saving money and time in the kitchen. So let's start with the basics. Raw vegan desserts, they are made with simple whole ingredients such as dates, bananas, nuts and seeds, and also cacao powder, or if you're sensitive to cacao, you can use carob powder. So these ingredients, they are packed with nutrients and they are naturally gluten-free and have no refined sugar. And you can find all these ingredients at your local grocery store or big wholesale stores or some bulk food sections or even online. Buying in bulk is always a great way to save money. And also don't forget to check for discounts on frozen options for things like berries and other frozen fruit. But remember, if you buy nuts and seeds in bulk, make sure to keep them in the freezer. Otherwise, they might go rancid fast. Another tip is soaking nuts and seeds. It makes them easier to blend and it enhances their nutritional value. Plus, you can use them in multiple recipes. So what I usually do with my almonds, for example, when I buy a big bag, I just soak the whole bag and then I just soak it like overnight, and then I rinse it and I separate it into small containers and I freeze it in the fridge. So next time I need to make almond milk really quick, I don't need to soak my almonds anymore because they are ready in my freezer. I just take them, blend it, and it's ready. Or if I make another recipe, I can also just quickly take them, leave it on the counter for a couple of hours or so, and they're gonna defrost and they're ready to use for whatever recipe I'm craving that day. Okay, first easy dessert we are going to make is this fudgy energy bites. These are my go-to when I need a sweet fix, but I don't want to spend a lot of money or a lot of time, and these are relatively easy to make and they only need 5 ingredients. That's it. So for this recipe, I'm going to use 1 cup of dates. I already soaked them. I usually buy my dates in places like Costco. They have big bags and they last quite a while for me. Also in this recipe, I'm going to use sunflower seeds because sunflower seeds, they are cheaper than buying cashew nuts. They work pretty much very similar in the recipes, just like cashews. Soak them for about a couple of hours and usually they are ready to go. For this recipe, I am going to use some cacao powder. Like I said earlier, you don't have to use it. If you're sensitive, you can use carob, which is very similar to cacao. This, I usually buy it in bulk online. This big bag, it's gonna last me quite a while. I know this would last very long time. Where's the expiration date? I don't even know what the expiration date. Does anybody know how long cacao lasts? But I usually don't worry about it. I never had a bad cacao before. Yeah, you can buy a big bag and you're gonna be set for a year. And another thing in this recipe that I'm going to use is this vanilla bean. And I know vanilla bean is expensive. So this I bought at Costco and it wasn't that expensive, and as you can see, it has quite a few beans here. But you don't have to do that. You can always buy vanilla extract. The problem with vanilla extract, most of them are alcohol based and I'm trying not to consume that. And the other vanilla extract that you can use is also glycerin based, so I would probably use that one over the alcohol one. But if you get a chance and find these on sale, I definitely recommend buying this because the flavor, when you put vanilla bean in your desserts, the flavor is unbelievable. It cannot compare to the vanilla extract for sure. Yeah, I bought this quite a while ago. Let's see, used by, okay, so they're gonna last for until 2028, so I still have like a few more years. And yeah, so this is a really nice thing to have. There was also another thing I used to buy. I don't buy it anymore. I don't know, I forgot. They sell vanilla powder. It's just ground up, not ground up, it's just dried vanilla. They just sell it in a jar. You can always use that. This way you can avoid all that alcohol and glycerin and all of those other things. So yeah, these are the options for vanilla. Also, when I make a chocolate dessert recipe, I like to add a tiny bit of pinch of salt, and that just brings up all the flavors, and your dessert is gonna taste super delicious. So these desserts, they taste like brownie bites, but they are made with whole nutrient-dense ingredients. So store them in the fridge and they will last for at least a week, unless of course you're gonna eat them all right away. So I'm gonna drain all this water from our dates that have been soaking for about a couple of hours. You can soak them overnight, and I'm going to add them to our food processor. I'm gonna do the same thing with my sunflower seeds. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add these seeds as well to the food processor. I need a tiny pinch of salt, just a little pinch, because when you use cacao, it's nice to bring up all these flavors. Next, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of cacao. This is not a cocoa powder, this is cacao powder. And this is raw. There are no other ingredients other than certified organic cacao. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of this cacao. Next ingredient is our delicious vanilla bean. I'm going to use 1 of these. This smells so good. Here's what you need to do. If you don't know how to deal with this bean, this is what it looks like. And you just need to kind of cut it in the middle, and you open it up. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna scrape all these seeds out. So make sure to scrape all this goodness. Oh, the aroma of the bean is amazing. I'm gonna use a food processor real quick, mix it all together, and then we're gonna roll them into whatever shapes you prefer. Help your processor a few times and kind of mix it up together. I'm gonna do this a few more times. Raw vegan desserts are really easy. It's just nuts and dates most of the time. You can just choose whatever nuts you prefer. So here's what our consistency looks like. Looks like it's all nicely mixed together. Let's roll our sleeves, and we're gonna go ahead and make them into little candy. So these are coconut shreds, and these are hemp seeds. I took a little bit of water here so that I can use for my hands. Otherwise, everything's gonna be sticky to my hands. So I'm gonna go ahead, take 1 piece, take a little bit of water for my hands, and kind of make like a little ball. I'm just gonna leave it here. Okay, 1 more with coconut, and the rest I think I'm gonna use for these hemp seeds. You can make a whole batch of these little desserts and just keep them in the fridge. And like I said, they last like at least a week, but I'll probably eat them all earlier. I wanted to make the one with hemp seeds. I wanted to make them into different shapes. You can make whatever shape you like. I'm gonna make them looking more like some sort of truffles or something. Now we need to make them covered in all these seeds. Look at my hands. Unfortunately, in this kitchen I don't have a sink working, so yeah, I have to use all my wipes here. I'm gonna take these seeds and I'm just gonna cover them like that. Very pretty. Hemp seeds, they have so many different nutrients, and only a little bit goes a long way. Now we're gonna do the same thing, the same mess with the coconut shreds. Here we go. These are the real candy, guys, not the garbage that they sell in stores like Skittles or Snickers or whatever else. This is the stuff that it's actually not gonna weigh you down, and it's gonna make you feel good and happy because it's so delicious. Okay guys, let me try them for you. I'm gonna start with my favorite coconut shreds. So good. Sweet but not so overwhelming, and it's just the right amount of cacao. It's so good. You can have a cup of tea and enjoy your candy. Hemp seeds. Look at it. Looks so pretty. And it has a little texture from the sunflower seeds. They were not broken down completely, but I like a little crunch. So good. I highly recommend it, guys. I hope you're gonna try. Now, let's go to the next recipe. Dessert number 2 is apple crumble. This is a perfect, quick, and super easy dessert, and all you need are apples, dates, and some oats. If you don't have dates, you can always substitute it with some raisins, which is what I'm going to do here. So these oats, they are sprouted. So as you can see, this is a pretty big bag, and I got it at Costco. These are gluten-free, sprouted, and rolled oats. It can last for a long time, especially for people like me. I don't eat a lot of oats, but sometimes I like to sprinkle a little bit on my desserts, and I like to use something like this. So this dessert is such a cozy and naturally sweet, and there is absolutely no baking required for this. So you can have this dessert for breakfast or anytime you want something sweet and comforting. You're gonna need to use 1 apple, and all you need to do is just chop it into small pieces. Any apple of your choice, really. You can even use Granny Smith if you don't like super sweet apples. Should be okay. Now I'm just gonna kind of cut it like that into small pieces. This size should be enough. Alright, I'm gonna add this to the bowl. Most of the time, I don't have any recipe, guys. I just take an apple and eat it. Or just take a bunch of dates and just eat them. But there are times that I really want something. This is our raisins that I was soaking for a couple of hours. I like to pre-soak my dry fruit most of the time because it's easier on our digestion. It's easier to chew, easier for our teeth. So it's better to soak this. Next, I'm going to use about 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I'm going to use this rolled oats. Okay, so I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup, and I'm also gonna use a little bit of water. Just a splash of water, about a couple of tablespoons. Mix it all kind of together. Definitely need a bigger bowl. Everything gonna come out. This was a pretty big apple, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of press it down a little bit, mash it a little bit so that oats can get softer. Smell of apples and cinnamon together. That's all I need. So mix, and you got yourself a delicious dessert. There we go. Just a little bit of more cinnamon on top. Just a little flakes like that. This is our dessert. As you can see, super simple. You can have it for breakfast, you can have it as a snack, or you can have it anytime. Okay guys, dessert number 2. Let's give it a taste test. Very yummy. Apples are juicy and mixing with oats have a good texture. I love when you mix apples and cinnamon together. There's just something about that combo, right? So good. I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Alright, well, let's go do another recipe first. Okay, and dessert number 3. You probably know this one already. Most of the people know about this already, but I cannot not mention it here because it is so easy and it is so really cheap to make this dessert. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and I'm talking about, of course, banana ice cream. Now, basic banana ice cream, all you need is frozen bananas. That's it. You can just blend them and enjoy. But of course, you can always add all kinds of flavors, whatever flavor you prefer. In this video, I'm gonna show you my favorite banana ice cream dessert that I always enjoy. We're gonna make chocolate peanut butter ice cream with some walnuts for crunch. So it's like a soft serve ice cream, but it's completely natural and budget friendly. So you can add toppings like nuts or shredded coconuts, or some sort of berries, or whatever else you like. I probably have about 4 frozen bananas here. It's really simple. You can't go really wrong here. You can put 3, 4, you can put 5 bananas here. But usually this is the amount that I use. And so these are frozen, and I kind of like to pre-chop them a little bit. Sometimes it's a good idea to let them thaw on the counter a little bit for 20 minutes or so. So I'm gonna chop them like that. So it's gonna be a little bit easier for my blender to blend. I have a combination of regular bananas and Thai bananas here. Sometimes it's a good idea to mix and match, but you don't have to use Thai bananas if you don't have them. Just use regular ones and it's gonna taste delicious. If you never tried banana ice cream before, I highly recommend it. This should be your dessert number one, and this is like my go-to if I don't want to make anything. If I'm super lazy, I just take these bananas out, blend them up with whatever I feel like ingredient, and that's it. My other ingredient is walnuts. Now you don't have to chop them, but they have a better texture if you do. So I like them a little bit like smaller pieces. Oh my god, I'm chopping my fingers off. So kind of like that. Be careful, don't cut yourself. Doesn't have to be super small, but a little bit smaller than regular halves, you know. And I have this walnut crumble on top. All right, I'm gonna set this aside. Okay, the next ingredient we're going to use is cacao. A couple of tablespoons of cacao here. And now I need 2 more tablespoons of peanut butter. Now, if you don't want to use peanut butter, because most of the peanut butters, the peanuts are roasted, you can always use like almond butter or whatever butter you really like. I have this organic peanut butter, which has 2 ingredients: dry roasted organic peanuts and sea salt. And I buy this at Costco. We have 2 of these huge jars, and it lasts me a while. And I like to add sometimes peanut butter to my recipes. It's hard to find the raw vegan peanut butter. Probably have to go to like Whole Foods or some other store. But I'm okay with using this for now, and that's what we're gonna use in this recipe. Just make sure when you buy peanut butter, make sure it's organic, because the peanuts are usually being sprayed with all kinds of garbage, and yeah, it's better to avoid that. Just buy organic peanut butter. Okay, so this is it. I'm gonna use a little bit of water, so it's gonna be a little bit easier to blend. You don't need a lot, but you do need a little bit, because my bananas were super frozen. I didn't defrost them. Usually if I let them sit on the countertop for about 20 minutes, they would have softened up and it would be easier to blend. But I didn't do it, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the water. I'm gonna use this tamper because I'm gonna go ahead and push it down all these bananas. Okay, let's go ahead and make this ice cream. Oh no. Fortunately for me, I have a backup blender, because you see, with Vitamix, when you start blending something and it becomes a little bit overheated, the Vitamix just shuts down. It's not like it's going to break or anything like this. It just shuts down, and you're gonna have to wait at least 5 minutes for it to cool down before you can use it again. I don't want to wait, and I do have a backup. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this Vitamix. Here we go. Second round. Let's go. It should be ready. Let's go ahead and check it out. And I have this fancy looking waffle cone that we're gonna use for the ice cream. And we do need to use this beautiful cup. Wow, this is too pretty, with a little bit of this walnuts on top. Wow, look at this beautiful soft serve ice cream. Okay guys, let's go ahead and give it a taste test before it melts away. It's already melting away. Nom nom nom. So good, so good. And I love this combination with walnuts on top. So delicious, and it's so nutritious. So good for you guys. You don't need to eat dairy, all those ice cream. We can leave that alone. You can just make this, and as good as the soft serve, or actually even better. And as you can see, I didn't even use any sugar or any other sweetener other than bananas. So good. I hope you're gonna try it. Before we wrap up, as promised, here are some quick tips to save money and time while making our vegan desserts. Number 1, buy in bulk. As I've already mentioned earlier, buy things like dates, oats, nuts, and seeds, buy all of them in bulk, as they are much cheaper this way, and they can last a long time, so they're not gonna really spoil or go around or anything for quite a while. Plus, it's better to have these kind of things on hand, so that way you won't have an excuse not to make something yummy but healthy. And number 2, use seasonal produce. You probably heard this one already, and when shopping, really try and buy the produce that's currently in season. So I like to buy fresh and in-season fruits, as they are always more affordable. Just check your local grocery store and see what's cheaper at the moment, but don't just buy the cheapest stuff without making sure that it looks and smells good too. Otherwise, it's gonna be a waste. Number 3, freeze fruit. Okay, bananas, berries, and mangoes, these are all great for desserts when frozen. So you can either prepare them yourself during summer and just freeze a whole bunch of your favorite fruit, or you can just pretty much always find them in frozen sections in places like Costco. Once again, you can buy in bulk. They have a lot of organic options, and they sell these huge bags. It can last quite a while in your fridge, in your freezer as well. So this is what I do, and it kind of helps me. And I always have fruit on hand, so like I mentioned earlier, I don't have an excuse to go and eat something bad, because I try to keep this kind of food in my freezer. Okay, number 4, repurpose your ingredients. Okay, so use nuts and dates for desserts instead of buying separate ingredients for each recipe. So for example, if the recipe is asking to use cashews, but all you have is sunflower seeds, so just use them. Of course, you have to know what you can work with as a substitute, but at this day and age, you can find a ton of information online. You can see what you can substitute with what. It's so quick and easy, guys. Number 5, use simple tools. Okay, I don't have plenty of tools in my house, but I do have a couple that I use pretty frequently. For example, I use this tiny food processor, which is not expensive, but I use it a lot. I also use a Vitamix, which could be expensive at first, but you can always buy it refurbished, and it's like half the price of the original one. This tool lasts me for years already, and it's still good. I only had to change a pitcher once because the blades, they kind of started running out, but the actual base, the machine is pretty good. It's still running and it works fine. I'm sure it's gonna work for quite a few more years. And I use it pretty frequently, almost on a daily basis. I either make a smoothie or sauce or something. I constantly use it. So this is a great tool to invest in if you trying to eat healthy. Okay, as far as the juicer, I do not have a good juicer, and in fact I had my Jack LaLanne juicer for about 16 years now. I only recently got a different kind of juicer, and I didn't buy it because my friend actually gave it to me. It's a Breville juicer, and it works just fine. So no, I don't have any expensive Nama juicer or anything like this. Maybe one day I will get it, but I don't see it as an immediate priority in order to eat healthy. So my number 1 tool in the kitchen is a good high-speed blender. I really highly recommend if you're trying to eat a lot of raw foods, you're definitely gonna need some sort of very powerful high-speed blender. It doesn't have to be Vitamix, it can be any other blender. So those are the tools. And there you have it, 3 easy, budget-friendly raw vegan desserts that are delicious and are super simple to make. And if you try any of these, just let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. Don't forget to subscribe for more raw vegan tips, recipes, and inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!